MyDoma Studio is your complete designer toolkit. You know this, right? MyDoma makes it easy to streamline your processes, track your projects, communicate with clients, and just get organized. It is created by designers for designers, specifically to address what you need as a design business owner. MyDoma is now together with Studio Designer, and they are the industry-leading solution. With 20,000 plus users, more designers choose their platform than any other. Are you ready to reach the next level of profitability and efficiency? Book a demo with MyDoma Studio today by going to mydomastudio.com/Luann. That's mydomastudio.com/Luann. Welcome to A Well-Designed Business. My name is Luann Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I do not love moderating panels with people I don't know. I love moderating them with people I do know. But with people I don't know, it can be a little crazy because the thing is, the truth is, within 2 or 3 questions that I ask you, I can tell if someone knows how to run their business or not. And so last fall, October 25, High Point Market, I was invited to moderate a panel, and Isabel was the only panelist I didn't know going in. But the thing is, really quickly, I remember thinking, oh, yes, she's the real deal. So naturally, I invited her onto the podcast. Big energy, strong point of view, smart business owner. It was apparent on the panel, and it's apparent in today's conversation. Isabel is a self-taught designer based in Kentucky, but don't let that fool you into thinking she's quietly blending into any background. Not even a little bit. She is a self-described ride-or-die maximalist. Color, patterns, layer, personality. Isabel loves to say more is more, less is never enough, and mix don't match. And honestly, once you meet her, you understand exactly why these are her mantras. But here's what's especially interesting. While Isabel has this bold creative point of view, she's also built a very serious business behind it. Her work has been featured all over the industry. She's participated in both the Kips designer Showhouse and House Beautiful's Whole Home Showhouse. She's been named a House Beautiful Next Wave designer, recognized by Luxe Magazine, Traditional Home, and Business of Home, and she's now serving as a 2026 High Point Market Authority style spotter. So yes, my friend, she is talented. But what I really want you to listen for today is how intentional she's been building a business that supports her creativity instead of draining it. We talk about boundaries, process, confidence, niching, client experience, and how she's created a business that attracts the right clients instead of convincing the wrong ones. Okay? We also have a lot of fun here. We talk about High Point Market, maximalism being the neon sheep in Kentucky, and what happens when you finally stop trying to fit into somebody else's version of success. Now, before I introduce you to Isabel, I want to take a quick minute to tell you more about our sponsor, June Laloy. As the sister brand of Laloy Rugs, June Laloy has been built on decades of industry expertise to stake their claim in the total home space. Since launching in 2024, the newcomers have debuted over 1,600 new products, creating a broad selection that supports your portfolio top to bottom. As a trade member, you can shop June Laloy's diverse catalog with an exclusive discount, curating from designs that suit every style and scope of every project. Visit junelaloy.com to discover the latest in total home and apply to their trade program today. That's JOONLOLOI.com. All right, settle in, my friends. This is a fun conversation, and Isabel is completely herself in the very best way. Hey, Isabel, thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, so happy to be here.
So I have to say, it's funny because we met each other for the first time in High Point Market last fall. So that would have been October 2025. We did a panel at Cheryl that Revolution co-sponsored, right? And that was my first time meeting you, hearing you, all the things. And of course, I looked up your website and everything before the panel. But like the real life version of Isabel is great. I mean, you just have such a great vibe and such a great energy. And I don't like having strangers to me on panels because I don't know if you know what you're talking about, but I will figure out in 2 or 3 questions if you do. And you do, and you did. And so I was glad.
And I love sharing and talking and all the things.
Yeah, so it was good. And it's funny because I've had a couple of panels. I mean, it's 10 years of doing panels, and I've probably done, I don't know how many dozens of panels between all the different markets. And it is a little bit of a wild card for me when I'm like, you were the only person on the panel that I didn't know before going in. And so I was like, all right, like I'll throw her some softballs. If she hits them, I'll come back with some fastballs. That's it. So anyway, so we're going to talk about your business today for sure. But also really, one of the things I'm going to start with is that you are a style spotter for 2026 for High Point Market Authority. And of course, I've been around High Point long enough to kind of know, okay, so you pick pretty things, but like, I don't really know what it means to be a style spotter. And let's pick that apart. Tell me, what are your responsibilities as a style spotter? Why did you choose to do it? Like, what do you get out of it? Why do you enjoy it? Let's go through it.
Okay, so High Point Market Authority, they're the big dogs that put on the entire High Point, and they select about 5 style spotters that are committed for the year, so for the 2 seasons, spring and fall, and we give tours, we praise High Point, talk about the ins and outs, share our experiences. We also go around market selecting our favorite products, and then we put little tags on them and share them because the style spotters, we all have unique points of view. And so when we're able to share our favorite products on High Point's platform, it allows other people to discover new things that they may not have otherwise have known about. So as a maximalist, I'm drawn to all the color and pattern, but there could be a minimalist looking out there that just doesn't normally gravitate towards the same things that I gravitate towards. So it's just a way to put products on display and flaunt our favorite vendors and activities to do.
Yeah. Okay. Now, that's probably the only part of it that I understood. I don't know that I realized that you did tours. So the 5 that are selected each year, are you doing 5 individual tours, both spring and fall, or you couple of do some in spring, couple of do fall? Are you doing them together? Are you doing apart? How does that work?
So each style spotter leads separate tours. So I'm going to be leading a tour in the spring. I will be leading another tour in the fall. And I'm doing this independently. I select my 3 favorite showrooms and I take the people in the group around, and the entire time I'm just jibber jabbering. One of the reasons I love to do things like this, whether it's being on a podcast, whether it's being on a panel, whether it's being on a tour, is I love to share information and to share my point of view as much as I love being shared to. So I attend panels, I attend tours because I like to receive just as much as I like to give.
I love it. And so the thing is, yeah, right? I mean, I feel the same way, right? It's like I'm talking all darn day long about the industry, right? So the thing is now, the tours for designers to be a part of your tour, are they free or they pay for, and they would be worth it to pay? I'm just curious how it works.
Yeah. They are free, and we advertise the link to sign up, and people sign up. I think it might be limited to about 15 people per tour, so that way we can keep it very personal. And when we're going to these showrooms, we do get a more intimate tour of the showroom. I'm usually meeting with the marketing people of the showroom, and they're like whining and dining our little tour. Another thing that's really interesting about being a style spotter is we're asked to convey our reasons for attending market and to help people who have never been to market be comfortable coming. So a lot of people, they might see this idea of High Point, right? It's the biggest furniture market in the entire world. And they might associate that with being overwhelmed. There's too much ground to cover. How am I going to see it all? There's too many people. There's too many panels. It's too much. And they get this feeling of overwhelm. And we're really trying to get the word overwhelming out of the conversation, because High Point is inspiring. It's educational.
Yes.
It's exuberant. It's a place where you can network, where you can move the dial of your business forward, where you can come to learn from other interior designers. I, for one, didn't go to interior design school. Everything I have learned about interior design, I have learned by attending panels at High Point. I have learned by listening to podcasts as your own, which I've been listening to for years, or I learned from the School of Hard Knocks. That's how I learned.
Right?
I love this idea of just trying to absorb everything I can, and High Point is a way to do that. And I want to encourage people that have never been before to come, and I also want to encourage people that have not been in a while to come back, or people that go frequently. I want to encourage them to just come with different points of views every time. Maybe you're going to discover a new product. Maybe the next time you're coming to because you want to write a book or you want to be on podcasts. Therefore, you're going to be on panels with people that lead podcasts, with people that have written books. Maybe you want to be on panels. So you come to High Point to be an audience member so that you can witness people on panels. How are they speaking? So it's all a learning opportunity, and it just depends on what is your point of view and what do you want to get out of it.
Well, and what's funny is because we all can understand why the first couple of times you've been there, or if you've gone without a plan for 10 years in a row, why you can get that word coming in your head, overwhelm. But I agree with you. Like, to me, I can't tell you how many designers have said to me, I've never been to High Point, should I go? And I'm always like, yes, and you should sign up for a tour. like, and the way I've described it is this. I'm like, you, and I literally just 2 days ago had this conversation with a designer, as a matter of fact. I said, look, there's two ways to do it. You can do it the way I would suggest, is figure out what tours are happening. And I do a tour 3 days in a row. Like, if you're going to go and you're going to be there for 3 days, do 3 different people's tours, because you're going to see 3 different sets of showrooms. You're going to have 3 different sets of point of view to, like, your point, yourself and your style spotters, right? But I said, if you're not going to do a tour and you just feel like, I just want to go, I said, then you have to be okay with, and my analogy to this person was, say you are a, super fan of Star Wars, and you are going to go to Disney and Universal and MGM, whatever they call it now, Hollywood Studios, or whatever, and you're going to go for 3 days, and you're going to spend 1 day at Disney, 1 day at Universal, 1 day at Hollywood Studios. And you do great. You ride rides, you eat cotton candy, you have a great time. And when you get home, somebody says, my goodness, you were just there. Did you go to the Star Wars section? And they're like, wait, there's a Star Wars section? And yeah, and that's what can happen if you go to High Point without a plan. You certainly can have a good time. You certainly can go into showrooms. You can certainly source product. You can certainly meet vendors. You can certainly run into panels. But you might miss the thing that would have made the trip like like over the top for you
Mhm.
if you
Mhm.
don't expose yourself at least a few times to the tours and the different things that happen. Do you agree with that, Isabel?
Agree completely. And also, there is an entire antique show that happens a few days before the actual start date of High Point. So I love
Uh-huh.
going there for one of a kinds, for seeking the treasures, and this entire community of the High Point city, so not just the market,
Yeah.
they're all so excited to welcome us designers. And so,
Uh,
they open their doors so willingly, so happy that we're there. And then we can like pick these treasures, these one of a kind. So there's some fun shopping to do there too.
yeah. Well, and when you mentioned the people of High Point, the actual locals that live there, that is
Hmm.
something from the very first visit I made 10 years ago that it just is so remarkable. Like, because all like most of the helping staff throughout the different buildings, like giving you directions and taking your tickets and all of that stuff, are locals that are hired by the
That's right.
market authority and the
Hmm.
different places, you know, at the bus lines and all the places.
Right.
And they have that like Disney. Like at
Hmm.
Disney, you ask somebody for help, they stop what they're doing. They're going to walk you
Absolutely.
down the path.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
I remember one time I had messed up the bus schedule and I
Hmm.
was going to take a bus out to Raleigh Airport or somewhere. It was like one of the far ones. It was Raleigh or Charlotte. It
Hmm.
wasn't the Greensboro. And I'm standing there and stand there. And finally, this guy looks over to me over where all the buses are by ICHF. And he's like, "Hey, little lady, you've been here a while. What's going on?" And I was probably there 15 or 20 minutes. Buses are coming and going. I said, I'm just waiting for the Raleigh bus, to go to the Raleigh airport or whatever. He's like, "Oh, little lady, that bus isn't coming anymore. That bus left at blah, blah, blah." And I just like looked at him. I said, "Oh, really?" He goes, "You know what? You just hang on one moment there." And he like gets in his little walkie talkie. Up comes a van. The van opens. He goes, "Would you take this pretty lady to the Raleigh airport?" I'm like, "Wait, what
Yes.
planet did I just land on now?" Like,
Yes.
in Jersey, we'd be like, "Your bus is gone. Yeah, here's the Uber app. Go buy."
And the High Point Market Authority, they do such a good job of that hospitality. I've been in a
Yes.
situation once where I decided to go last minute and there's like no hotels left that I like Google. And so I called the High Point Market Authority and they're like, "We've got rooms blocked off in all of these hotels at a discount rate that we have held on for emergency situations like that." And so they really do
Wow.
roll out the red carpet to serve us. There's been other
Yeah.
times where I'm walking down the street, it starts to rain, and like all of these High Point people just come out of nowhere with these umbrellas. They're like branded umbrellas and they're like, "Here's an umbrella, here's a poncho." Oh my gosh. And the food, I mean, I never eat better
Uh,
than when I am in High Point. I need to do a tour about like where to eat: breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, tapas, happy hour, everything.
that's it. That your tour isn't going to be about furniture and brands. It's going to be
Yeah,
about the good food.
where to eat and where to party.
Yeah, yeah, and where to party, right? I just it really is. I think the thing for me is when you are just passively experiencing it, there's no question it's an extremely high level hospitality experience. But when you observe it, like for me, I can't go into the CVS and buy a birthday card without observing how every person interacts, because I'm like constantly going, could this business be better? Like I like
I
literally
do
I'm
that
like
too.
bad
Yes.
customer service. Oh yeah, it drives me to drink. I cannot stand it. It's like, you walk up to the counter at whatever the store is, and the person's going to sit there and like, for 5 minutes, just like blatantly ignore you. And you're like, could you check me out? Like, what are you doing? Like 3 minutes feels like an hour. And that's the thing. And so it's not only as you passively experience it is a great experience, but I'm on alert every day. It's just this weird thing that's wired into me. And
Hmm.
I'm constantly judging somebody else's, the way they deliver their business to the world. And let me tell you what, I have in 10 years, in 20 markets, I have never, ever had a bad customer service experience at High Point. That's
Yeah.
bonkers. That's bonkers.
Ooh,
Yeah.
High Point
And so,
hospitality. That's like a little buzzword.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
High Point
and to me,
hospitality.
I know it starts with leadership down. It's Tammy,
It
it's
does.
Ashley, it's Ben. It starts with leadership down, because you
Hmm.
just don't build a culture like that when you are not living it and exampling it,
That's right.
because it
Hmm.
really does come through. Anyway, and I have a dozen stories of being places that, nobody's there and the guy is like, "I'll drive you. I'll just take you if
Yes.
my
Yeah.
shift is over in 20 minutes." And I'm like, "Well, I'm all the way out in Trinity." He's like, "It doesn't matter. It's fine."
It's nice to feel welcomed in someone else's territory. There's times like I'll go to New York and I'm like, oh, you guys do not want me here.
And the thing is, for me, the reason I like kind of,
But there it's nice to feel welcomed.
right, right. But the reason I kind of stop on that for a little moment and really pull it apart is because if you are coming in from another part of the country or the world, you always have to have your guard up. It's a real world happening out there, but it's for the most part a very safe environment,
Yeah.
very, like we said, hospitable environment, and it doesn't feel like things are left to chance. Like, you can, like I said, I've been 7 o'clock at night and nobody around, and the
Hmm.
security guard has come out of 200 Steel and said, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "I've got no service. I can't get a car. I got to go all the way to Trinity." And he's like, "I get done in a half hour. I'll drive you." And you know what? If
Yeah.
somebody said that to you in Jersey, you'd be like, "Over my dead body am I getting in your
Oh.
car?" But you know
Hmm.
what I mean? But there,
Hmm.
you're like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, love, love, love that. And I think that that is part of the intimidation factor, is wondering, how will I know to move around? How will I know what to navigate? And everybody that is there is very, very helpful, and it
Yeah.
doesn't feel intimidating once you're there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when you take part of the tours with you guys, I love that. Like, if I'm a maximalist, like, what do I want to do? I want to
Hmm.
spend 3 days finding showrooms that are going to appeal to my aesthetic. No, how
Yes.
about I get on
Yes.
Isabel's, tour, and I find out right away the first three to go
Hmm.
to, right?
That's right. And even if
Yeah.
it's like, you can also just go with the point of view is I'm a new designer or I'm not happy in my business.
Yeah.
Let me find someone who I think is happy in their business and like pepper them with all of these questions or get inspired. And so there's a lot to it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's other tours. You guys have your tours. IDS runs
Hmm.
tours. Mydoma run tours. There's lots of ways to get involved, and
Hmm.
it just takes. And the website is very comprehensive to
Yeah.
find lodging, to find the events, to find all the stuff. So,
Hmm.
yay! I'm really glad, and I'm happy for you. You excited to be a style spotter this year, Isabel?
I love this kind of, I mean, I love to
Yeah.
share. I love to talk. I love all of those things. I'm so honored and delighted.
You know that some of your clients want recliners, right? And you're thinking, please, please don't make me put that in that room. Well, Kravit just gave you a gift. Their new line, Kravit Motion, is all about comfort without the clunky eyesore. We're talking sleek silhouettes, tailored arms and backs, gorgeous details, and yes, it reclines, but in a way that actually works with your interior design plan. So whether it's manual, plug-in, battery powered, it's all high-end, no, all low maintenance, and you can customize it with curated fabrics and finish options that fit your design vision. So if you've been avoiding motion furniture, it's time to take another look. Head over to Kravit.com and check out Kravit Motion, because form and function finally just called a truce. Yeah, good, good, good. All right,
Yeah.
now let's pick your business apart, because I got you here. So let's do
Let's do it.
it.
Let's roll.
Okay, so you're in business 11 years, you're self-taught
Hmm.
designer. You
Hmm.
have obviously reached a level of success. I've looked at the website. If
Hmm.
I understand right, I think you're taking part in a show house right now as we speak. You're recording as you're putting it together.
Yep, the Southeastern Designers Show House in Atlanta. So I just stepped out of my show house just to have this podcast.
Okay, and that makes me realize I don't remember where I read your business is based out of. Are you Atlanta, or where are
Kentucky.
you?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I'm
that's
in
right.
Lexington,
Yes.
Kentucky, but half
Right, which
car
is
will travel.
totally whack. It's like, wait, Kentucky? You look like a city girl to me.
Yes, yes. So I'm actually from Brazil. So my energy, my unapologetic love for life, that comes from my Brazilian roots. My family moved from Brazil to Kentucky because my parents raise and breed thoroughbreds, and Kentucky's the horse capital of the world. But I'd like to say a black sheep in Kentucky, but let's go with neon colored sheep. I'm the neon
I
colored
think
sheep in
that's what you
Kentucky.
gotta be, right?
That is so like, yeah, Kentucky is traditional and comfortable and beautiful and polite, and I am
Yes.
loud and me, but I love having a niche. I'm such a contrarian that I love being me in Kentucky as opposed to if I were me in like Hawaii.
Yeah. Now, question for you. As
Mhm.
as a child, did you do all the horse and farm things, or were you always came out and you're
No.
like, no, girl, like get me pretty clothes and get me jewelry and let me rearrange furniture?
So when I was little, we grew up on a horse farm. There was a barn, and the only time I would ever go into the barn was during hay bale season. They would put the hay bales in the loft, and then I would rearrange it to make it like a little house. And then the closest I've ever been to a horse is my parents won the Kentucky Oaks. It's a big race the day before Kentucky Derby,
Wow.
and everyone goes to the winner's circle, and I get right up there in my adorable outfit, and I grab that horse by the reins, and I put my face right next to the horse and smiled big for the pictures. As soon as that moment
And
was over, I was like,
introduce
oh,
yourself
wait.
to the horse that your family owns, right? Like, hello, I'm Isabel. We haven't met before.
And then as soon as like the flash goes off with the cameras, I'm like, oh, I'm not a horse girl. Here, you take the reins back.
That's funny. Do
So
you
that
have
is me.
siblings, Isabel, that were more into it than you were, or are you an
Yes.
only?
So I am the oldest child, and I have every oldest child personality, and I'm the favorite. And my mother still like babies me, which I love. My mom's my life manager. She also works in my business. She's the schlepper in our business, but she is my life manager. Like, I have a nanny, but my nanny is like not for my kids. My nanny is for me. I'm a 40-year-old with a nanny, and she's my mom.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Okay, so self-taught, accomplished. Now, I guess
Mhm.
my brain goes to what's interesting about self-taught and accomplished, right? It's not unusual. There's many people like yourself that are self-taught and accomplished. Nate Berkus always comes to mind first, right? But when you
Mhm.
think about that combination of self-taught and accomplished, is there any thought or areas that come to mind that you think, yeah, like that was probably a little harder because I didn't have a formal education in design, or that was something that took me a hot minute to lock down, whereas I imagine if I had gone to school, and you know me, I don't care how you get there, I really
Yeah.
don't. I'm just trying to, you know have somebody that is also out there self-taught, that is
Mhm.
looking to be accomplished, maybe learn something from you that you can be like, yeah, we would have learned this if we went to school, but we didn't, so let me teach it to you. I don't know, anything come to mind?
Yeah. So my mindset is that everything happens exactly as it should for the greater good. So in my
Okay.
business, this is both in my personal life and in my business, we say that there is not a problem. There's just a solution that we haven't figured out just yet. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
is allowed to come to me and tell me that there is a problem. What you say instead is, okay, I have like 5 different options that could, or I just have 5 different options. Here they are, blah 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 blah. And by the way, here's the problem we haven't, there's just not a problem. There's just
Yeah.
solutions that we haven't gotten yet. So all of these hiccups that I have encountered, I really don't know if they would have been taught in school or not. Like, for example,
Okay.
it's taught through the School of Hard Knocks. So like one big example is a long time ago, I put a sectional in a room and I measured it, and it was perfect for the room. What I did not
Right.
consider is how is that sectional going to get up to that room, because there's a very tight hallway.
Oh yeah.
What ended up happening, and thank my lucky stars that the client was out of town on spring break, because I ended up hiring a carpenter to remove the door casing and to remove the drywall so that I could gain an extra 3 inches. So it went to the studs. got the sectional up
Oh my
there,
God.
then put the drywall back, brand new paint. And then once I got up there, I ended up giving the client later, I don't like to say a discount, but it was a discount. I was like, hey, just for fun, you thought the sofa was going to be this, but there's like a tiny little, exactly. And then to that day, I'm going to say, well, what goes in must come out. I got it in there. So it's like, so that happened years ago. And when it happened, I thought it was going to be the end of me. How am I going to like tell them
Yeah.
this? I'm going to now have to like get a new sofa, da, da, da. But I learned that then. I have never made that mistake since. And so that's
Exactly.
where, when you're asking me, do I ever wish that I went to design school? There's no reason in wishing if I did or didn't. It
Right.
just
Love
is.
that. Yeah.
That being said, though, here's an alternative answer. I wish I'd gone to business school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wish. Well, I do wish you all did, but as long as you didn't, I'm glad you're here. Like,
Yes,
you know.
yes, yes.
Yeah. No, it's true, and it's funny because I remember I was I was moderating a panel with Keisha Franklin from Halden Interiors years ago at High Point, and she was talking about the same thing, like this sofa that she had to get up this flight of stairs. It was getting in the like the making the turn in the flight of stairs,
Mm-hmm.
and it wouldn't
That's
make
right.
the turn. And instead of cutting all the wall out and everything, she had a furniture artisan come in, cut
Cut it in
open
half.
the sofa, cut the sofa in half, put the sofa back together, reupholster it back together. You know, it's yeah, it's I've said it on the show 1,000 times. Yeah.
And I learned that because I had this like traumatizing experience for me at the moment that I talked to my interior designer friends, and my interior designer friends who live in New York. They're like, oh yeah, no, that's what we always do. We plan to cut things down and have it repaired by a furniture doctor. We plan to crane furniture in through a window. But here's little Miss Kentucky who has like big houses and not, apartments. And I just didn't know. But
I
now
know,
it
I
gives
know.
me the confidence to, be able to not see that as a barrier because it happened. It was traumatic, and I talked about it with friends.
That's it. And it is one of those you do it once mistakes. It just
Yes,
it doesn't happen again. And you're right. You
that's right.
wouldn't have necessarily learned that in design school.
No, no,
They tell you
no.
how to pick the sofa for the room proportionately,
Yep.
but they don't tell you to look. I've done the same mistake in window treatments. I've talked about it before. It's like the first time, I had some big, 12, 13-foot drapery rod, blah, blah, blah. And my installer calls me from Manhattan and he's like, how did you think I was going to get this up to the 15th floor? And I'm like, I didn't give it one thought. It didn't occur to me. Well, I didn't even consider that. What's the
Don't
problem?
consider it.
He's like, well, the
Yeah.
elevator is 8 feet. On the diagonal, it's 9. Like, this isn't fitting. And I'm like, huh. That sounds like a difficult situation. Call me back when you've solved it. Like, what am I going to tell you? You know?
How on earth would you have known to do that if you did not experience it yourself, or if you didn't hear someone else's experience?
Yeah,
I mean, of course, it stings
it's the
harder.
truth.
You learn the lesson hard when it happens to you, but you're not going to learn
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. And then, so what are like, when you think about some of the things that when you look back and you say, these are the mile markers, or these are the moments, or these are some of the decisions that, when in hindsight, you now say were contributors to my business growing and becoming well known and becoming somebody that's in Kentucky that gets invited to do a show house in Atlanta and be a style
Hmm.
spotter. I mean, that's not
Hmm.
a not insignificant
Yeah.
thing. That's
Yeah.
you're on the
Hmm.
map. So,
Yeah.
what are some of the
I,
things that you would say to somebody listening that you did that were good?
so I owe my entire business and my confidence and my way of life to the fact that I wanted to get a divorce so bad years ago, and I did. I felt while I was married, um, I knew that I was destined for bigger and better and like a big authentic life. Before I go further, I will say that my ex-husband and I, we do share a backyard. We are very close. He has a fiance that I am obsessed with. I'm decorating her she shed, her woman part of their house, and my boyfriend and my ex-husband are taking a boys trip with our kids to Miami.
Oh, whoa.
So I'm going to say that that's how the story ends now. Okay. But at the time, I just felt that I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was just all about the kids and serving, my husband and this house and all of this. And it was this desire to get a divorce that started my business. And then it was being in Kentucky that is so quiet, and that is so polite, and being like,
polite and
I'm
proper,
the first one to get a
and
divorce. Yes, and my aesthetic is not prim and proper. It's not quiet. It's loud.
right.
And
Not,
that really propelled me forward. And and I don't want to call people like haters, because I feel like haters are big fans, are like my biggest fans, and they like propel me forward. But there are times where I am called out on, like, you need to be quieter, you need to be more demure. You know, your husband's artwork should really stand out because he has an art gallery. Keep your interiors quiet so that his artwork stands out. Nothing makes me a louder maximalist than being told to be quiet and polite. Seriously, I would be a minimalist if I didn't have haters telling me to like calm down and be polite. So how is that for an answer?
okay.
That was a pivotal moment of my life. Another pivotal moment of my career is when I want to raise my rates, and I might say it to my family members, or like, someone, like, I'm raising my rates. And then when they're like, oh, that's too much. Oh, no one will ever hire you for raising your rates like that. And I mean, all I need to hear is a no to be able to be like, well, then I'm going to show you. And actually, I'm not doubling my rates. I'm tripling my rates. I'm going to show you. So it's moments like this. I guess I'm such a contrarian, and I love to like prove things to myself and to others. And I'm not only going to do it, I'm going to thrive. And
I'm going to put your face in it when I do it.
Yeah, I think that there's a whole like therapy episode that could come with this, with the therapist being like, let's dive deeper into these issues. Isabel, who are you really trying to prove?
Exactly. And when I'm hearing myself, I keep thinking about the double-edged sword of being your mom. There's one part of me that is like, man alive, you want to raise a girl like that. You want to raise a girl that just chops everything down and takes no prisoners. And I'm thinking, but dang it, I wouldn't want to be her mom trying to curb her and saying, you're 16, you can't stay out till midnight. I don't care, Isabel, why you think you should.
That's it. And the thing that I like will hear sometimes, it's also like, but isn't that too much? If you add one more thing, isn't that too much? And then I'm like, it's not enough.
Finding it now.
Finding more. I'm a contrarian.
Well, and I have to say, I think, if we pick apart the lesson, this is very entertaining and it's fun. It is kind of therapy, like looking at you and imagining this wild child in Kentucky. But I think, the core lesson that I'm hearing in this is how many designers are sitting in whatever market now and saying, geez, nobody in my market would like this look. Whether it's a maximalist market that, should be like everybody seems to be, liking minimalist, or, like that person likes minimalist, or it's horse country market and who wants these crazy wild things. We want, pastures and horses and plaid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
it just proves, do you wherever you are. Would you agree?
100%. And then I'd also like to tell people that it's not about the market that you're in that determines if your aesthetic is successful. It's about who aligns with your vibe. And good vibes are more important to me than anything else. More than budget. I mean, budget's important, project's important, all of that, but good vibes more important than anything. And so I hear often, oh, but you're in Kentucky. Yeah, but Kentucky, even though I'm not the traditional Kentucky girl, there's so many people in Kentucky that want a piece of me. And I want a piece of them. So I want us to align, whether that's Kentucky or Kansas or Florida or big city, small city. There's someone who wants a piece of this vibe. And I want a piece of the person who wants the piece of this vibe.
Exactly. And that is the power of niching. That is literally the definition of the result and the power of niching. Yes,
Yes.
it's like you sit there and you think, I'm in Kentucky. What percentage of people want, this vibe, this look, this loud, this all of that? But you know what?
Yeah.
You don't need to work, and nobody's going to work with 100% of the people. I don't
Right.
care if there's 5% of the people in Kentucky that appreciate that, you're going to get 100% of that 5% because you're willing to
Hmm.
say, yeah, I'm in Kentucky and this is my look. You know what I mean? This is how I design and this is how I show up.
Here's another really pivotal moment of my business. I'm still going back to your question of like all of these moments that have like changed my
Good.
business and excelled it forward. So, a long time ago, someone had asked me, a big company was doing a profile on me. And so I sent them all of these pictures that had their wallpapers and their fabrics, all of my favorite images. So they write the article, they do the profile, and they do not pay attention to any of the pictures that I had sent them in my Dropbox. Instead, when I saw the article, I was like, "What? This is the old Isabel. This is when I used to do rustic. This is when I used to do barn doors." And they just chose things. They were picking images from my website, which at the time read like a laundry list of every single project I have ever done. And I didn't want to be known for the projects that I used to do because now I was coming into my own, into my niche, into my maximalist. So what I did, and it was hard for me to do this at the time, but I went through my website and I deleted over 50% of my work. This is work that I
Good for
had
you.
paid money to photograph. This is money. But I deleted because I wanted, it's not that I wasn't proud of the work or was embarrassed by it because I needed all of that work to get me to where I was. I needed to experiment with all different kinds of aesthetics to learn that I love maximalism. So I've done neutrals, I've done modern farmhouse, I've done barn doors because doing all of that made me realize that I am obsessed with pattern and color, and that's what I want to do. So anyway, so I deleted everything from my website. That wasn't that, and that's when I realized that I am niche. I'm
Yeah,
not for
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody. And
Right.
then what was interesting is that then I started my Instagram, where my Instagram, it wasn't just a portfolio of my work. That's, you go to my website for a portfolio, you go to Instagram for my vibe, for, because I'm like, I'm funny, I'm silly,
Yeah.
I like fun. And
Yeah, you're a big
there's
personality.
so
Yeah.
many people that love my personality, and then there's others that I'm sure don't follow or just unfollow or go right through, and that's okay because I want to be niche because I love my niche and it makes me so happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I'm so glad to know that you did take the other work off because, again, it has nothing to do with being not proud of that work or not being in, respect for those clients. But if you
Right.
have it out there, then people are going to think that's what you do, and if you really don't want to do it, you've got to let it go. I told the story 100 times, 100 years ago about a good friend she's become a good friend of mine over the years. She lives in the UK, and the very first time I coached her in 2017, it was so funny. And her episode is, we'll put her episode in the show notes. It was Chloe Bullock. And I'll never forget, we laugh about this now, her and I. And she's a designer in the UK. And we come to the thing, and I'm like, pouring through her website, and her inquit take forms to me says, I'm having trouble, finding clients and filling the pipeline and this and that and the other thing. So I do this, pre work of really reading the website and trying to understand who she is, what she is, who she serves. And I just come in and I start like saying, okay, so you need to fill your pipeline. She's like, yeah. And I said, all right, let's spitball. And I'm going through all of this stuff, talking about how to find other dentists to do work with and other small boutique like coffee shops. And, we're going through and we're talking. And of course, everybody in the UK, they're like so polite that like anybody else here would have been like, in 5 minutes, they'd be like, what are you talking about? But she's listening to me and this and that. Finally, after 15 minutes or so, she says, Lou, sorry, but I don't really want to do dentist office or coffee shops. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, but your entire website is there's like 4 dentist office and 2 little coffee shop. She's like, well, that's the only work I've gotten so far. And I'm like, OMG, take them down. Like, take them down. Take pictures of your own house, do your mother's house. I don't care what you do, but like literally you're telling the world, if you're a dentist, call me. I got you. You know what I'm saying? So we still laugh about that now. And now she's
another
highly
thing too,
successful.
It is a few years ago, I was going through this midlife business crisis, where things were just not fun anymore. And so I worked with a life coach, a business coach, a therapist. I love self-help and self-improvement. So I did all of that. And I'm so into the law of attraction and energy, and what you put out there comes back to you. And something that I really believe too is the power of saying no and holding on to the desire, to the vision that what you want is going to come to you better than you ever imagined. And so there's been many times where, actually, let me back up. So what I did in this moment of desperation and despair in my business is I created a deck. It's like a handbook that goes out to all potential clients. So before anyone is a client of mine, I have put up so many intentional speed bumps along the way, because when we meet, I need like the stars to align and the fireworks to happen. So it's basically this document of my rules. I mean, it sounds harsh when I'm like, these are my rules, but that is the truth. This is my business. And guess what? I get to do whatever I want in my business.
I cannot imagine you as a 13-year-old. I cannot.
Oh my God, a terror. So like my rules are like, this is what I love. I'm really good at maximalism. I'm really good at colors and patterns. If you agree, keep reading. If not, it's okay. There's a designer out there for everybody. But in there, I say, in the same way that you don't hire a doctor, but then hold the scalpel. You don't hire an attorney, but then start redlining the contracts. You don't hire Isabel Ladd Interiors and then tell me how to decorate. Your business, I'm really into, you hire the professional to do the professional's job. And, if my client is a lawyer, a doctor, guess what? They have no business on nail heads or trims or curtain fabric. And so when you hire me, again, I guess it has to come, you've got to like the vibe and be like, okay, we're under Isabel's guidance now. But I say, like, I'm the captain. We're not co-designing. I'm not co-doctoring with you. I'm not co-lawyering with you.
Right. I'm not walking into this 5-star restaurant and give me like the sous chef to manage here, right?
No.
It's like, I'll just sit at the table and wait for the gorgeous meal that you're going to make for me, right?
Yeah. And then like other little rules in my handbook are like, during an installation day, you are not there. We are creating the magic. You're giving us the keys to your house. We're not going to ask questions. We're just going to go and do. Another thing is that like things happen in the procurement process. Something comes in broken, something comes into damaged, discontinued, whatever. Guess what? I'm not going to tell you about it. I'm going to make the best decision that I can, and surprise. So if there's like a big wallpaper, big moment that's been discontinued, yes, of course I'm going to let you know about it. But if there's like, hey, this pillow fabric or this trim came in with an issue, I'm going to change that pillow fabric. I'm going to change that trim. And guess what? You are not going to know how the sausage is made. You're just going to come in on installation day and be like, oh my gosh, I love my house. I'm not set. I want this to be an experience for you. And the experience gets crushed a little bit if you think that the ship is sinking because something came in damaged or discontinued. The ship is not sinking. It's going to be the best ship. It's going to be a yacht. It's going to be a super yacht. The ship is not sinking. So that's like another one of my rules is like, I give myself authority to make the best decisions for you on your behalf.
I love that one. I have to say, I love that one because It is when the client gets all the way down in the weeds that it gets a
Yeah.
little crazy pants. So, and
Yeah.
your analogy is great. Like I'm not going to redline your contract when I pay you to review my
Yeah.
contract. So get the
Yeah.
heck out of my mix, right? Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And also it's like you've seen my work completed on oh, here's another good one too. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna stand back. Okay, so another one of my rules is um that I am not asked okay. Okay. Ooh, where to begin? I'm so excited about this one. Okay. I do the presentation, I do my design, and of course I've like talked to you about like what you want, what you like, what you don't like, blah 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 blah. When I do this presentation, send it to you, you marinate. You get 2 weeks from the presentation till the end to like we're gonna tie this up with a bow until you accept. You have a week. You can't ghost me. So we need in 24 hours, we need some kind of acknowledgement. It can be received. It can be
Mm,
like hard time, talk later. But what we can't
right.
actually, I said 24, but it's 48 hours. But what I can't do is be like, hey, following up on this, hey, checking in, da da da. And I say all of this from the beginning because I want to give this energy and this expectation that like this is exciting, we are moving this forward. I want you to be excited to have this interior design and for it to keep going forward because the presentation is so fun. I come in with snacks, I come in with jokes, it's a hoot, and that's exciting. But if days pass and then you start
Yeah,
like
we all
pulling
lose
things
the
apart,
momentum.
and the momentum is done. So that's why it's imperative that we keep the show on the road because this is the really fun part of life, you guys. I'm here to do decorating. We're not here to put money towards like sewage and pipes and like stupid electric stuff behind the wall. We are here for color, fun,
Open
pattern.
laundries.
So like let's have fun with it. So another thing that I'm like really excited about is that once you're marinating on this, you in the 2 weeks that you have, um, you get one little chance to tell me up to 5 things that you would like to see refinements on. I do not call it an edit.
Now, is this like you do full houses or 5 things in one room or 5 things in a whole house? Like
It
clarify.
would be like for the presentation. So if I'm presenting you with 3 different rooms, then pick 5 things that you would like to see a refinement on.
Total.
I
Mhm.
don't call it an edit because an edit makes it sound like I did something wrong and we're redlining and we're editing. I call it a refinement because we're just pivoting, we're just
Tweaking it up.
refining it a
Yeah.
little bit. So it's all about like energy and for me it is and like
Yeah,
energy have
it's the
words and things
language.
like
It's
that.
what you teach them to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is because once upon a time, um, I was because I want to stay in this driver's seat as the interior designer. Again, we're not co-designing, and I'm not going to start to redecorate a whole room. Um, but I can do these refinements. So it's like, hey, can I see a table lamp instead of a standing lamp? You sure can. Can I see another pillow option? No problem. Can I see another wallpaper? Absolutely. But I'm not redesigning, I'm just doing these little tweaks. But here is the big takeaway, okay? Biggest takeaway. You say that in the beginning before a client even signs up with you or anything. This is all in this page that they get from the beginning. You set up that energy, that expectation, that boundary. Guess how many people have ever asked me for refinement since I've put that in? 2. And guess what those refinements are? Can I see a
Wow.
table lamp instead of a standing lamp? Because you're setting that boundary and
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
expectation from the beginning. Before I said all of this, before I
Yeah.
had this energy that I was projecting, I was redoing stuff. And then I'd get so jaded and I wouldn't like the project after I'm like redesigning,
Yeah.
re-editing, doing all of this stuff. So that's a pivotal moment in the business is to make up your rules, whatever you want at your business. And you say that from the
I
beginning.
love that. When do they get these rules? Are the rules written?
Yes, it's 15 pages, but like they're really cute.
Okay. Of course they're cute. You're a designer. Let's be serious. Okay. So is it prior to discovery call? It's after discovery call. It's
Prior.
prior to consult. It's after consult. Like when does like a brand new client potential
Yep.
gets the
So
rules?
here's the process.
Yeah.
Exactly. So step one is they reach out on Instagram or website or whatever. Hi, I'm interested in your design process. Then we say, please go to the website and fill out this questionnaire. It's fill in the bubble questionnaire. It's the easiest questionnaire you'll ever see. Here's what we're looking for. This is speed bump number one. If the answer is, oh, that's okay. I know Isabel. She's a friend. I don't need to do the questionnaire. And our minds are like, oh, noted. You don't follow our process. So it's like
Okay.
that's a speed
Yeah.
bump in and of itself.
Yeah.
So there's no right or
Yeah.
wrong
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
answers in this questionnaire, but there is if you're like gonna do it or not, or like I'm really excited, I really want an interior designer, I want to start right now, I'm gonna fill out this questionnaire, but then you don't for 8 months,
Yeah.
then you're not excited
Yeah. Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so first step is the easiest questionnaire in the world.
Right.
Then second step is if like Ashley, who's my girl, my COO, she reviews it, and then she might ask a few questions. Like in the questionnaire, it's like, this is your budget, but you want sorry, this is your investment, but you want to do like this entire house. And then she'll politely say, like, we hear that this is your set aside investment, but this will give, but here are the 3 rooms that you could do in this. And so then
Yeah.
she'll reply back to that questionnaire. And then she sends this very cute book of rules. And I mean, there's lots of pictures, and it's really well written. And it's just like, besides the little rules, and it's called like How to Work with Isabel Ladd Interiors. And, but then there's also like, it's 10 easy ways of like the process. And then it talks about like our values. And because our values are high vibe and fun, and we want you to know that from the get-go. So
Right.
this handbook is our biggest speed bump because we're saying this is who we are, keep reading or ghost us. And it's really nice because we don't
Or
have
go
to
away.
say no to people. People either ghost us, or because the last thing on this handbook is, if this resonates with you, email Ashley and we'll take the next step of a Zoom discovery call. So I want you to know this stuff before it gets there.
Okay. But if they don't, then you don't care. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
care because my
Right.
energy is that that what is meant to be will always find a way, and I want people to match my vibe.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
to be so excited about working with me and so excited about this project. And if you've got, I don't want people to negotiate because, again, this is my business. I do what I want.
I love that. I always say I love having my own business because I get to do what I want. It's like my
Yeah.
highway, my
Yeah.
rules, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have
Yeah.
one question in all of that. All of that is outstanding, and I think it's really nice that you've gotten it so clear for yourself, Isabel, what it is that brings you joy and satisfaction in running your business, and you're just loud and proud about it. And it's like, yay, right? One question. So in the weeds, they have gone through the inquiry call, they've gone through the discovery call, they've gone through a consult. Now you've given them design proposal. I'm assuming at this point they've paid for the design proposal, and you're saying, so they've paid their design for the design, and now this proposal is basically saying, and here is the rooms and the investment, and you have 48 hours to just say, at the very least, received. Do I have that sequence right?
No, let me back up a bit.
Okay.
So then
Go ahead.
they get the deck. They say that they want the Zoom call. They talk to Ashley first, and then Ashley either makes the decision to take the next step or not. And then if she says take the next step, then I come in to the Zoom call. And it's also written in the handbook that the first design meeting where I come to your house is $1,200. That is not a guarantee whether I'm going to take the project on or not. It's to see the vibe, to see the space, to talk about, to really see in real life, like, what this is going to entail, because from there Ashley starts doing a lot of work to start building this proposal. And I mean, this takes actually like a few days to do this, and so we need to get paid for that. But here's the beauty of this. By the time we get to this, and it's like pay the $1,200 for me to come to the house to assess what's going to be in the proposal, we have taken on 100% of those jobs. Because shame on us if we get to the house and this last speed bump and we realize that this is not going to be a match. Shame on us. So that's where it's always worked.
Right. Because you've done a lot of work to
Because
figure
we've
that
asked this.
out.
So then for that, and then
Okay.
by then Ashley's
Now,
already said, like, you want these 3 rooms. And in this deck, Ashley has already sent a snapshot of, like, if you want the primary bedroom, this is generally what it costs for Isabel's design time to do the primary bedroom. This is generally the range that it takes to complete this primary bedroom, and we have that information for every single room of the house. That is part of the handbook that you receive before this. So it's like, so an example could be, and then it says, like, for this living room, the average living room, very much an average, is between $50,000 and $85,000, which includes, this average includes one sofa, 2 side tables, 1 coffee table, And I grabbed those numbers because I took a deep, hard look into my projects and what are the living rooms, for example, that I was most proud of. The living rooms that I'm most proud of, that bring me the most joy, are the ones that have wallpaper, that have custom window treatments, that have lamps with fun lampshades. So that is a different price point than if I weren't to do wallpaper or trim or anything like that. And so you have that average range of a room in this handbook. Before we
and
meet,
the handbook is going out. This handbook is going out after the discovery call, but before they have your $1,200 in-person visit.
Correct. Actually, it's going out after the questionnaire. Ashley's asked the questions about, like, what are the 3 rooms, or, like, she'll say, like, you know, you've said that you want to do all of these rooms for $100,000, but $100,000 is not going to give you these rooms. $100,000 is going to give you this many rooms. And so by then she knows that if you're going to focus on 3 rooms, she's already sending you in the handbook the snapshot of what those 3 rooms generally cost in furnishings and in my design time, because I need you to be able to be okay with the average fee of those rooms. Do you want me to clarify that again? I feel
so
like
what I'm
I
hearing,
jabber a lot.
Well, no. Like I can pick it apart so I can understand it. So what I'm hearing is that I think what is a typical thing that a designer would do, and you might have a nuance here that's different, is typically a designer will have this sort of discovery book, this handbook, or whatever you want to call it, welcome package or whatever. And it'll just be in general, you know, good, better, best, or blah, blah, blah. And what you're doing is, after Ashley has read their first inquiry, has had the discovery call with them, you're basically, you know, playing jigsaw and saying, this person doesn't care what an average bathroom costs or an average kitchen. This person is asking about an average primary bedroom, an average living room, an average dining room. So you're almost, from pre-made assets, customizing this book based on what they asked for. And so
That's
maybe
correct.
50% or 80% of it is the same for everybody. But when it comes down to the rooms, you know, if she just had a 20-minute conversation with somebody who wants to do the primary bath and bedroom, you're not giving a booklet that has how much a kitchen cost.
That's already
You're
correct.
specializing it. Right.
So after that question, yes. So then when I send that, they're receiving the deck for the first time, this handbook, and Ashley already knows the 3 rooms that we're going to focus on. And this is the average cost of those rooms based on these things, based on these items.
Yeah, we're not giving them based on what they said. We're just giving them the room. Right. Yeah. Sorry.
The average. And it's not a good, better, best. You know what it is? It's what makes Isabel Ladd Interiors, Isabel Ladd Interiors. So for you to have an Isabel Ladd Interiors finished room, this is the average. So then you know that it's just an average, and then you're going to either swallow that average and be okay with it, or you're going to be like, to ghost me, and that's fine. Then
because you're not going to water down your design and do a lesser version of Isabel Ladd. Okay.
That's exactly it.
Interesting.
So then they pay the $1,200. we go to their house. When I'm going to their house, I'm standing in this living room and I'm like, okay, so the average that was in the deck that you received was for one sofa. This is a huge living room. We can do two
Yeah, we
sofas,
need
and
to.
the rug needs to be this size, and this needs to be that. And then I'm also getting your vibe. So I'm getting the vibe from your closet, the stuff you already have, the stuff that you have, and the things that you want. And so I'm getting the vibe
Yeah.
of like, okay, this person's really going to appreciate some boutique amazing wallpaper, or this person like loves supporting women, so I'm going to do boutique women wallpapers and fabrics here in this house, or this person wants a lot
Yes.
of like showy value here, but I am going to do some less expensive options to really mix and match here. So that's like the vibes that I'm
Mhm.
getting as I'm going to your house for the $1,200. And in that, then Ashley and I are going together. I'm talking out loud because we know I love to talk. And then Ashley is taking notes of this. And I'm telling Ashley, okay, 3 Roman shades, or I'm telling her 2 curtains, because as we know,
Yeah,
curtains are a different price than Roman shades. And so Ashley's like just taking these
exactly.
notes. And I'm saying an 8 by 10 rug, make this rug. And then I might just tell Ashley like the brand. So it's like, make this a fiber
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
seal, or sorry, a Fiberworks Sisal custom rug, or I'm saying make it a Momenti 8 by 10 that's like already there. That's off the shelf, whatever. I shouldn't have said off the shelf, but it's like, okay, Ashley, I'm going to make this curtain fabric with a boutique designer, or I'm going to say I'm going to make this from a less expensive stuff. So then she's taking all these notes.
Right.
Then she goes back to the office and she's going to add all of this up. Just, we've got a spreadsheet that's like, here's fabric from a boutique designer, here's fabric from this brand, here's a light, here's a visual comfort light, here's a Hudson Valley light price, and it's all averages. So that it's really
Right.
easy for her to just like click the buttons that we want to add. And then when she has that, then she's going to send that proposal to them. And that proposal is going to say, now that we've looked in your space, we estimate that the range for this living room, it's not going to be the 70, it's not going to be the 75,000 that we put on the deck. We can actually do this room for 50,000, or we're actually going to do this room for
Hmm.
85,000. But it's,
Right.
that number is close ish to what you
Yep.
had in that deck.
Yes.
But I'm
Right.
not doing any design work until this contract is signed. I'm just telling
And you're
Ashley,
not
price it
picking
out like
the lamp.
this.
Yeah,
No,
you're
I'm
not
just saying
picking the lamp, the chandelier.
no.
You're just giving her the price points that you're like, you're basically have your own
Yeah,
code language for low, middle, high, but
that's
you're
it.
saying high on the rug, low on the chandelier, high
That's
on
it.
the carpet, blah, blah, blah. Got
And
it.
those numbers are
That's
already there in our
interesting. It's
spreadsheet.
very
So it's
efficient.
really easy.
It's efficient.
And then, but all of this has the word estimate, estimate, estimate.
Estimate. Right. We're
And so,
ballparking it.
yeah. And so then when I do the design presentation, I have everything is itemized in there. And so, but my overall number, I mean, sometimes it's close and it's right on what was the estimate. Sometimes it might be a little bit over, but that's where things are itemized. And I'm like, hey, I know that we were aiming for $75,000 for this room. It's actually 80,000 if you get all of this, but we can also just decline these 2 pieces of art, and I'm there at 75. And the people are usually
Right.
like, oh, that's fine. I'm not,
We'll take it.
the presentation that I give you is not out of left field for what you already thought it
Right.
was
You
going to
don't
be.
just all of a sudden go 30, 40% higher. So the thing is,
Correct.
after that visit, and she follows up with the document that is using your averages, and you're saying low, middle, high on each item, and, yes, window treatments, no window treatments, yes, custom, yes, ready made, blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah. Then that is, you're giving the finite number for the design fee, and you're now giving a re-estimated number for the investment fee. And you're
That's right.
still saying, I originally told you to 50 to 85. Now I'm saying we're 85 to 90. Or I originally told you 50, 85. And now I'm saying we could hit 50 to 65. That's all you're doing at that second phase. But the design fee is specific. And you're like,
Stays.
and your design fee is 25K, or it's 40K,
Yes.
or it's
Yeah.
10K.
I
And
do
then they're
once.
signing off
Mhm.
on the design fee, right?
That is not going
And
to
they're
change. They're
saying
signing
yes
off on the
to this
design
budget.
fee.
Right.
That's not going to change. But when I actually do the presentation, and I say this a lot, this is like real life example is, hey, I thought that this was going to be 80,000, but then I had this insane idea. I know that I never even like talked to you about like wallpaper the inside of this closet, but it would be so fun. So I just added it. I added it here because this idea just came to me. And so then they get to choose. I'm not going to change the design fee, but then they can be like, oh my
No.
gosh, Isabel, brilliant. Yes. Or they can be like,
Yeah.
let's stick to this price. But once they sign off on that, like the price isn't
Exactly.
changing. Once that they put money towards that, once they pay the deposit. I mean, we've got
Right.
fine
And
print
so
that's like
now just
the electrician is an estimate because we do not know what's going to happen when we start opening up these walls.
right.
So, and people get it.
Right. But just to take this across the finish line. So at this point, design fee is finite. Investment level is closer, but still an estimate because we're not picking the exact sofa wallpaper, chandelier. They're
Correct.
giving you the design fee in full when they accept this proposal, and they're giving
Correct.
you any part of this furniture at this point. Are they giving you deposit retainer on the furniture or no?
No, they're just paying the
Okay.
design fee in full.
Fee.
Before
Mm-hmm.
I even pick up a pencil, the design fee is paid in full. And then once I
Right.
do the presentation, then they will pay 75% deposit.
Okay, so again, so they at this stage they're paying design fee in full. Now they have the accurate investment level. Now you're going back, you're picking the exact pieces, and now the next meeting you're coming back and saying that 70 to 85 is now $78,345 unless you want that
That's it.
fabulous wallpaper in your
It's
closet, and
exact.
then they give you 75% of that. Love
That
it.
is
Love it.
correct.
Love it. Love it. Love
After
it.
that
Love it.
presentation,
Okay.
there is no guessing. There is no budgeting anymore. It is that exact number to the penny.
Right. I love it.
With the
I love
fine
it.
print
That's a
that
great process.
shit happens.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, don't get
Yeah.
crazy. We've got other
Yeah.
contractors and things that are going to come into
Yeah.
this, right? And that's where
Yep.
your actual letter of agreement addresses those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love that. Thank you for walking us all the way through that. I think that is
Yeah.
one of that particular process in a designer's business is done. I'm going to tell you what, if I have 30 plus chairman of the boards, I would tell you there's 20 different ways designers do it.
Absolutely.
It's like,
Yeah.
and so it's generally the same path, but the specifics get very different about what is delivered at that consult, what is not delivered, when is investment agreed upon. So having the actual specifics there is very helpful, Isabel. Thank you.
So one of the other things that I'm known for, like another niche of my business, is we are known for being super organized and clear, and like we don't want to give surprises, only happy surprises. So that's another thing. It's like there's not a guessing game of the money. There's not a guessing game of the things that we're ordering for you. The only part that's a guessing game is like I had said earlier, if I need to do a small pivot, and you don't need to worry about it because we take care of it, and we over deliver with everything. And the most fun part of anyone's of my job, I've got so many fun parts. One is I love the presentation, that because I wanted to be an actress when I was little. So that didn't work out the way I thought it did. So I had to take my acting to my Instagram. But into my presentations. So I just put on a show. I wear an outfit that like matches the presentation. I bring fun food. I know what their favorite drinks are, and then I like bring out like if the drink alcohol, then I'll bring out bourbon like right before we start talking about the price, and I'm like chug chug chug. Now we'll talk about the final number. So I make it like really fun. If we're like in a house, because here's another wild thing that makes my business so unique. I don't do floor plans. I don't do CAD drawings. I don't do any of that. So what I do when I'm like at that first meeting with Ashley, I mean, I might just scribble a floor plan and just measure like length and width. But I do the presentations in the house. So if it's a house that's under construction and it's like the
Ah,
framing is up, the drywall is up, or not even drywall, just framing. I do a whole picnic there. And if there's no air conditioning, I like bring in fans. If it's very cold, I'll bring in like
oh
a
my
glove
gosh.
warmer, I make it very fun and very cute. But the reason why I do this in the space and I move around from room to room is because I use my tape measure or painter's tape just to show them what it looks like and what it's going to feel like in the room. I'm not asking for their blessing on like the size of the
Interesting.
sofa because that's something for me. But I
Right.
feel like a lot of clients, they're not used to like reading floor plans, reading elevations. That's something
Yeah.
that we do. But what I'm doing instead is like the sofa's going to go here and the
Yeah,
piano's
you're
going to go
creating
here.
it. You're
Yeah. And
yeah,
I also
yeah, yeah.
say like I bet the two club chairs are going to go here. But, when the installation, who knows? I might fiddle with it and see what happens. So I'm making this fun and like making them being able to like visualize a little bit better when they're standing in the room.
Yeah.
So no floor
I
plans.
love it. That's great. It's like
The girl in a tape measure.
creating a vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Oh, but then my other favorite part of this is the reveal. Yeah. So sometimes what I'll do during the reveal to make it like really fun, like if it's been a big construction project that's like gone for so many times, and like contractors have been annoying, whatever. I greet the clients outside with a silver tray, their favorite drinks on there, and then like a sage stick. So then I'm saging the house like as we're walking around for the reveal to be like all the bad energy is out. Now it's all of your fun energy to live here. So,
Oh,
and
that's
then I'll give
awesome.
like gifts that like could be luggage that's monogrammed, and I'm already putting the luggage like in their closet. So then, like during the reveal, they're like, "Oh, new luggage!" So I love stuff like that.
Ah,
Surprises, magic moments, little Easter
that's
eggs.
interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody giving luggage. That's interesting. I always feel
Yeah,
like it's
monogrammed.
champagne and strawberries.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome. I love that. Very good. Well, I have to tell you, I'm sure I could pick your brain forever, but I'm sure you got to get back to your show house. I
yes.
appreciate all of your information today. We'll look forward
Thank
to
you.
seeing you at High Point. And if somebody wants to get on your tour, do you know? Oh, well, you're probably not doing the reservations for the October tour yet. When do the reservations open for the tours? Do you know?
I don't know, but follow along on my Instagram to find out.
Exactly. There you go. All right. And of course, I'm sure there's information on High Point Market Authority's site
Absolutely.
for getting
Yep.
onto the Style Spotter stores,
Yeah.
tours and
Hmm.
stuff. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Isabel. This was a fun
Thank
time.
you.
Appreciate you.
I love being here. Thank you.
Okay, before I share my observations, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Mr. Steam. You know what I've noticed with interior designers who are at the top of the game? The ones who are consistently closing high end bathroom projects, they're specifying a reason for their clients to say yes to a high end investment. And steam and sauna are that reason right now. Mr. Steam has been making steam since 1917, and they have built for you a genuinely useful tool. It's a tool called the Virtual Spa Tool, where you enter your shower dimensions, your wall materials, your client's wish list, and it hands you a complete specification at list price. No back and forth, no guesswork. You've got to see it for yourself. Go to luannigara.com/Mr. Steam. You especially want to familiarize yourself with Mr. Steam and their products if you have active clients who are into health and fitness. This is worth your time and it will increase your ROI. Okay, now let's get to Isabel Ladd. The lady is a force, is she not? I do not use that word loosely. She is someone who has figured it out with intention and probably a little stubbornness exactly who she is and how she wants to run her business. And then you know what she did? She built systems to make sure that it runs the way she wants it to. She is self taught and accomplished. And I said it in the show. The first person that came to mind with those same qualities is Nate Berkus. There are many others that have been on the podcast, but if you want to have more conversation with a self-taught, accomplished designer, put Nate's episode next on your list, and we'll link it in the show notes. Now, let's pull out a couple of things that are important from today. The first big idea is this: your niche doesn't have to be just about your aesthetic. Isabel talks about this beautifully. Yes, she is a maximalist. Color, pattern, more is more. This is her design point of view. But her niche is also how she delivers the experience, the high vibe energy, the intentional speed bumps that she places in the process, the handbook, the experience she creates at the reveal. All of this is also part of her niche. You don't get an Isabel Ladd interior without all of that. And that is something I want you to sit with. What is your full package? Is there a niche in your full package? Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is probably one of the most instructive things that Isabel shared, right? She designed her process to protect her joy. Think about it. She designed her process to protect her joy. Think about it. The handbook, the questionnaire, the discovery call with Ashley first, not herself, the $1,200 in-person visit before she commits to working with you. These are not obstacles. These are Isabel's way of making sure that when she walks into a project, she is genuinely excited to be there, and so is the client, glad that she's there. And the result? No bad client stories, no revision horror stories. She set herself up for success. That was not luck. And I want you to hear this because many of you come to me burned out, jaded, and it traces back to taking projects that don't feel right from the start. You knew going in, but you said yes anyway. Isabel has built herself a business where she almost never has to even say no. Right? The wrong clients ghost out all on their own long before she or they have wasted any time. It's genius. Okay. The other thing we talked about was deleting 50% of her portfolio, 50%. Work she paid to have photographed, work that she was proud of. But she deleted it because it no longer represented who she was and where she was going. And, that takes guts. It takes clarity. Because every designer I've ever worked with, and that's a lot of you, there is that moment when you struggle to let go of the old work. But if the old work is on your website and it doesn't reflect the work that you want to do, you are literally advertising for the wrong clients. There was an episode where Chloe Bullock and I talked about this, and we will put her episode in the show notes as well. It is a great reminder. And now here Isabel is teaching it again. Finally, and this is one for your soul as much as for your business, Isabel talked about what I'll call her mantras for handling the hard moments. There's not a problem, just a solution we haven't found yet. What happened in year 7 happened because I wasn't supposed to make that mistake in year 8. When someone tells her no, she doesn't shrink, she doubles down. And this isn't just personality, this is a trained mindset. She worked with a life coach and a business coach and a therapist, and she is a student of the law of attraction. Whatever your thoughts are on any of these things, the underlying principle is real. The story you tell yourself between your ears about your business, about your worth, and about your setbacks matters enormously. All right, think about it. What story are you telling yourself? Isabel tells herself stories that support herself as a woman, as a business person, as a human, all the things. Now, a few quick things before I let you go. Isabel is a 2026 Style Spotter for High Point Market Authority, and she will be there this October. The tours are free, limited to about 15 people, and you sign up through the High Point Market Authority site. Follow Isabel on Instagram to find out when the registration opens. And if you are someone who has been saying, I'll get to High Point someday, now might be the time. Get yourself on a tour. As I said in the episode, if you're going, go with a plan. Make the most of it. And if you want to learn more about High Point Market and a plan that you might create for yourself, we have a great episode with Tammy Covington. She is the president and the CEO of High Point Market Authority, and we will link that in the show notes as well. Isabel, thank you, my friend. You are just a ray of sunshine. I think mixed with a lightning bolt, if I were going to be truthful. This was such a fun conversation. I hope the Showhouse in Atlanta is everything you want it to be, and I cannot wait to see you at High Point this fall. All right? And thank you for listening. I hope today's conversation sparks something for you around niching, about client process, and about finding your vibe. Okay? Until next time, decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of Luann Nigara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or Luann University, go to luannnigara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to windowworksnj.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.